I'm thrilled to welcome Head of Commerce and moderator of our Clicks to Customers panel, Nikki Kuritsky.
First of all, didn't we all learn so much from these four panelists today? I love what Seth said. We want to make buckets of money. That's important to all of us here and obviously important to your clients too. So we're going to have a little conversation today about a couple of topics that were touched upon by each one of these folks. And so I'm going to start with Krishna. So Krishna, how can web designers effectively convey a brand's identity through design elements on an e-commerce site?
Okay, so I would say through trust factors. And to me, that pretty much looks like making sure you use your visual brand identity consistently across the site. So that's things like your brand colors, your typography, have really good imagery. Now, for e-commerce in particular, I'd say if you've got customer reviews, if you've got any articles, because you're in the PR and press, put all of those things onto the website, because I think that will help the user to actually realize you're a credible business, and they'll be trusting you a little bit more to then go through that process. Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, whether it's, I guess, trust factors or a term that we use here at work is purchase confidence. There's so much, obviously, that we want to make sure that we're doing on behalf of these end clients to make sure that when visitors come to the site, they feel like this is a legitimate business, right? So, Kia, I'm going to kind of continue this theme with you. What are some ways that you use imagery and multimedia to enhance the product pages and increase sales? You have a great eye for design, your background in photography. How do you bring that into this conversation?
So yeah, because I love photography, period. I'm always aiming to have my clients do like professional shoots because one, that just helps to establish one credibility, and then to also it just looks better, honestly. And so I also am a big fan of if you're going to use any type of filtering, make sure the filters are the same across the board. And that's with your website or social media. And just make sure everything's always web and social media ready.
Great point. Seth, you taught us so much about making money for clients. And one area that I wanted to delve a little bit deeper on was SEO. Obviously, at Squarespace, we do have built in SEO tools, and we wanted to know how do you leverage these to make sure that you're getting the best visibility for your client sites?
Yeah, there are a lot of SEO tools within Squarespace, but I've found a lot of people don't use them. And so I'm going to bang the drum again. Fundamentals are the key. So, especially with products, with every product listing, you can have specific metadata for it. And I was mortified one time when I had built this website for someone and had added tons of products. And then I went through and realized I hadn't updated the URLs, I hadn't added that SEO data, and had to apologize about it because there are so many tools out there that I can use, and I wasn't taking advantage of them. And then the second thing is just thinking through, the product photography, like Kia was talking about. When we're adding a lot of photos for a product page, making sure that they're optimized for size, especially thinking about mobile. That is a huge impact on SEO, the load time of your site. So if the product photography is really weighing it down, it's going to bring you down. So I use a couple of tools just to compress it, like compressor.io. I always run all my product photos through there to make sure that it's the lightest page possible, which helps with SEO.
That's a great point. Sam, you taught us so much about kind of like that sales funnel and how we should always be thinking about how every site is an e-commerce site. I wanted to get a sense of how do you balance the aesthetics with the functionality that you're trying to do as you're looking to build these sites?
Yeah, so I honestly I think you can run into the issue when you're designing like an e-commerce store of over designing and taking away from the core goal, which is get people to click on the thing that you want them to click on, add it to cart, purchase. And I think sometimes the beauty can come in the function. So like if you look at cars, some people will like the tactility of the knobs that you can turn as opposed to a touch screen. It's much the same with a store. I think the best stores are just like simple, clean, really easy to navigate, and they kind of let the product imagery and that sort of pared back design do the majority of the work. So in terms of balance, strip as much back as you can.
It's a great point. So everyone here spoke a lot about this kind of like client intake process, how it is that you all work with your customers to make sure that you're representing them and their brands effectively. But I'm sure that there must be times that you come across really niche brands and they're trying to hit really unique and niche markets. How do you work specifically with each one of those, and how do you kind of like help them find that market? And I'm going to give this question to actually everyone, so we'll go down the list.
Okay, so I would hone in on what's the actual USP, what differentiates that business. And if that business founder or business founders have a unique personality as well, we'd inject that into the site, because essentially people buy from people. And because we've essentially got a screen in front of us and you're expecting someone to buy something, injecting that level of personality, that individual tone of voice, and then you've obviously got the visual brand identity making it unique, I think that will really help convert. Yeah.
And for me, I think I really love the fact that Squarespace has the ability, well, provides us the ability to incorporate like custom elements like CSS and things like that. So if a brand comes to me with like a very niche thing and I need to like be able to add to that, what Squarespace already offers, I love the idea of being able to do that and give the client exactly what they want.
A lot of people have talked about process today, and one of the most frustrating things to me is when I design something and then someone's like, no, that's not it. I can't tell you what it is, but I can tell you that's not it. And so for me, one of my favorite questions in the process is not just who do you aspire to look like, but also who do you want to make sure you don't look anything like? Whether it's in the industry or a different industry, what website experience just really bums you out, and you want to make sure that no one has that experience on your website. It gives me a lot of information that helps me to really nail it down on that next round.
That's such a great point.
Yeah, so I think the website should be almost like a podium that the person's brand sits on. So again, much like the last point, just strip it back as much as possible. A lot of the work of getting in front of the right audience will probably take place off-site, but once they come onto the site, they need to know, oh, this is the person who I connect with, this is the brand that I want to buy from. And so a lot of that will be copy, imagery, and clear design architecture. So hierarchy of guiding the user through where we want them to go. And so it's less about again over designing. It's more so just nail those basics, the fundamentals, as someone said before.
Thank you guys so much. Can we get another round of applause for this panelist team here? Thank you guys. We appreciate you.